But I don't know, just it really, the editing just kind of reflected the pace of the film, and it just wasn't onslaught on your senses, which I think is what it was hoping to do. So that was fantastic. Number 4.
Stole the pages off.
That is horrible. Boring. And introduce me to the genuinely
Put it down.
and fucking boring all at the same time. And I have no idea how.
Yeah, she has boobs, okay? She's a woman. Don't do it now. Who wrote that? Who wrote that? You're racist. Second place. Everything but American cinema.
Hello, welcome back to Real Opinions. We are here in the studio again. This is strange. We're usually behind radio desks.
Yeah,
It's
we have
kinda
returned
nice.
for the very special occasion.
We have. It is our little review of 2015 cinema. So our favourite films of the year. Harrison, how are we going to do this?
Okay, so we're going to do it 10 through to 6 each. So you'll do your 10 through to 6, I'll do my 10 through 6 and so on. And then we'll talk about those films. And then we'll do our 5 through to 1. So that way we're not, all talking for a long period of time and it's just babbling.
Makes sense.
Makes it bearable for the audience.
Makes it bearable for you. Which camera is it? It's that one, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, you got
You.
2.
Jack, do you want to kick things off?
Right, for 10, I've got Inside Out, which I know you guys loved a lot more than me, and I have been bad mouthing a bit lately, but I mean I do think it's enjoyable, and it's definitely a good film for kids. 9, Bridge of Spies, which I just thought again was just a really well made film, even if I think that the story wasn't brilliant. Mockingjay, which really surprised me. I didn't expect to like it so much, and again I don't know why it's so high up, but I just quite enjoyed it more than I expected. Still Alice, it was just really well acted, gripping drama essentially. Fumbled a bit near the end, and then Crimson Peak, which I just really enjoyed because it was fun.
That's 6.
Yeah, that's 6. Yeah, and that was just really enjoyable gothic romance film, which you don't
Gothic
get
romance.
at all. Yeah, exactly. You
But
don't
it
get
is,
that at all,
yeah.
and it was a really fun film to watch.
Wicked, cool.
I'm going to instantly start by discrediting myself because number 10 is Krampus. Which
There's not that much
I
of a
don't think that's
discredit.
bad.
it's not, but it's just like it's my 10th best film of 2015.
Yeah.
It's not like you've gone 10, Seventh Son,
well,
or anything like that.
Don't spoil the rest of it.
Spoil number 9.
But it was very much like it felt like a film made for me. I like those kind of like fun creature feature horror films like Gremlins and things, and it was very very much like inspired by them, and so it just felt like something I was always going to be inclined to like because of what it was. At number 9, I have Crimson Peak. So you did put Crimson Peak higher than me, but I'm a big Guillermo del Toro fan. It looks beautiful. I have problems with it, but the good moments I loved. So it was a film where when it was good, I really liked it. Number 8 is one that just keeps climbing through my list, and when we saw it originally, I was like, it was good. But now it's my number 8, The Martian, which I just like it a lot because the more I think about it, the more I think about all those other space films that have a very distinct tone that they all share, and The Martian kind of goes, now we're going to be fun and happy.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I like
nice.
that. That's nice. Number 7 is The Hallow, which is his t-shirt. Yeah, we saw that in like a special screening. It was really cool.
It was basically a friends and family screening.
Yes,
Wasn't
we just saw it with the director's family. It was really weird. And again, like Krampus, it's another horror film that kind of feels like it was very much made for me. The difference is it's better than Krampus. It's like objectively better than Krampus.
More well made.
Yeah. And at number 6, this is my one fanboy moment. The one where I kind of put a film much higher than it should be because I'm always gonna love it. Jurassic World.
I thought you would have put that higher, to be fair.
6 is pretty high.
Yeah, I mean, it's high, but I would.
I love the Jurassic Park series, and as the sequels go, it's the best Jurassic Park sequel. If nothing else, the last 15 minutes.
Oh yeah,
great.
definitely. The finale is amazing.
So that's my 6.
Ah. Right, my number 10, High Rise, which I have talked about on the radio before, and there is a little review up somewhere. But it was at the London Film Festival. It comes out here in March, I think.
Oh, cool! We've got released
But,
that. Yeah.
So yeah, it is just. I mean, it's nuts. It is quite messy, and there are quite a few things wrong with it. But I love how nuts it is, and I love the actors in it all kind of just go for it. No one feels like they're holding back. They all have this really weird tone that they're all just going for, and it's really nice to kind of embrace that. Oh, and Hiddlesbum. Can't forget the Hiddlesbum. I don't actually like. I feel like I should say on camera right now, I'm not that fond of Tom Hiddleston's
Why did you mention
bum.
every
I'm not that
film
fun.
that he's in?
Wait,
I
what are you
don't-
not fond of?
Tom Hiddleston's bum.
Well, as a bum, like
Or you're
Yeah,
not
dude,
rating
not-
half of the bum?
No, just in
Not
terms
the
of
not the best films.
things. In terms of
better this
things,
year.
I'm not. Like, I feel like I mentioned it quite a lot when we were reviewing it. To be fair, I wasn't going to mention it this
Both
time
films.
until you mentioned it just now.
Are there better asses in Hollywood? There are
Definitely.
definitely bigger asses in Hollywood.
Top 10 bums. Right, number 9 is Jurassic World, which you just talked about. But obviously, I think it is just probably one of the most fun films of the year.
Yeah.
It's just so gung ho, and like you say, there are a few messy things in it. There are some plot holes, etc. But when it is good, it's just so overwhelmingly fun. I saw it twice, and I still had just as much fun with it the second time. So I was just, and I'm Chris Pratt's character in it is so.
He's cool.
He's
was-
cool in a way that characters haven't been cool.
Yeah,
for a while.
I was happy because I thought he was just going to do Star-Lord again.
Exactly, but he didn't. He did something different, and it was nice. Number 8 is Inside Out, which obviously Jack's mentioned. And again, like I didn't love it as much as I think the majority of people loved it. I didn't think it was like Best Picture worthy or like 5-star great, but I do think it's an incredibly clever idea, executed very, very well, and I think the music is just insane in it. I heard the theme again the other day, and it was just all these emotions rushing back. It's such an interesting film in all their colourful forms, yeah. And I think it is the best film Pixar have made in quite a while, so it was kind of an indication that Pixar are still up there. Number 7 is a film that I don't know if any of you are going to mention, Mistress America. Anyone else see
Damn it! You took my number 1.
It was an honourable mention.
There you go.
I saw it the other day because it just came out,
Yeah.
and it was. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would.
I was a huge fan of Frances Ha. I know
Yeah.
you don't like Frances Ha.
No,
But I honestly,
I don't
it's,
not like it. I
It's
just
one
think
of my
it's very
favourite
average.
films. So I was like, and this is like, I mean, this isn't a sequel or anything, but it's Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach like writing together, and Noah Baumbach directing it, Greta Gerwig starring in it again. It's a similar thing set in New York, but she plays a complete like the complete flip of her character in Frances Ha, and I mean, I don't think it's as good as Frances Ha, and the comedy is a little bit shaky sometimes, and the situations don't move as much as you think they will, and the pacing is a bit all over the place sometimes, but it is very, very funny and very, very insightful at times, and I really like the tone to it.
It definitely felt like he was trying to make his Woody Allen film.
Yeah, it does
That's
feel quite
quite put me
reminiscent
off
of Woody
it, yeah.
Allen, but I really like Woody Allen, so
Yeah.
70s Allen anyway.
It wasn't as good as that. As well.
And then my number 6 is Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, which
This
is...
was my like
I
11.
don't think I've ever liked a Mission Impossible movie more than a James Bond film when they've been released around the same time, but I preferred this exponentially. I preferred this exponentially to Spectre. I'm sorry, James. Like, I'm generally more of a Bond fan, but this film, I think it's just so well put together.
I haven't
The
seen it, so I
sequences-
can't.
The sequence, trust me, you will probably like
Obviously.
it. The sequence, it has probably the best car chase of the year.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
No.
Whoa, in a
Oh,
year.
other than Fury
Right, I
Road.
was gonna
Other than
say,
Fury
whoa.
Road. Forgetting Fury Road. Motorbike chase, should we say.
Oh, the best and only.
And the opera sequence is just so exquisitely put together. Just in terms of how they play with tension and actual action. It's also very funny, and they nail the tone really well. And I didn't want to punch Tom Cruise in the face at any point, which I usually do in Tom Cruise movies, so... Yeah, go Mission Impossible.
That's the new standard.
That's my
It's just,
compliment.
did this film make me want to punch Tom Cruise? Yours is the list I'm most excited for.
Okay,
after
go
all
on,
the
so,
controversy.
Not to
disappoint. Now, I'm gonna
not
get
to
so
disappoint. I'm starting off slightly controversially with number 10, Fast and Furious.
That's
No,
not
what?
bad. I enjoyed it.
Because
Right,
it's a
right.
very enjoyable film. I'm not a guy that likes car porn and is going, oh my god, it'd be
I'm
gassy.
the same.
I'm not showing up. I'm not showing up for the usual Fast and Furious kind of scenario.
Check out the exhaust on that one.
I'm not there to, just, casually eye up the cars. I'm like,
Vroom, vroom.
there are people in the world that do this.
I know.
So I don't know.
It's alright,
Why
Chris,
you're
I
laughing
understand
so
you.
much at me
I
because I'm
understand
not
you.
one of these people.
Yeah, but when you start by saying you're not, we all think you are. Yeah, if you just instantly walk in and go, well, I'm not attracted to cars. I can tell you that much.
I didn't say it in
doesn't
a nervous,
mean it in that way.
uneasy kind of way. Like I don't mess about my
I
cars.
don't fuck cars. What?
Anyway, being more serious now. It's got some great spectacular action sequences, and it's just so ridiculously OTT. The Rock is just self-parody
I
beyond
love him.
belief.
I
It's
love him
just
so
it's
much.
just so much fun.
Is he self-parody?
Yes,
He
yes.
Is he?
When he's marching down an underpass, taking on a helicopter with a Gatling
It was a
gun.
drone, yeah.
Or a drone.
With a-
yeah,
yeah.
it is just beyond self-parody.
He was a wrestler.
He busts out of an. He is in.
Took that seriously.
No, but in this film, it is self-parody. He's stuck in a
It knows how to say it.
Yeah,
hospital,
yeah, it does.
and he busts out of a cast by tensing his biceps.
Okay.
Trust me.
Daddy's gotta go to work.
Someone actually raised the point that he is like our generation's
Schwarzenegger.
Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
And I love Schwarzenegger, that kind of hammy
Me too.
OTT action figure. This brilliant. Number 9, I've got Inside Out. It is a great film for many reasons we've already raised. My main problem though with it, why it doesn't rank higher, is because it's at its best when all 5 emotions are together and the second act separates them. And so I feel like it could have been a better film if they'd come up with a narrative that kept all 5 of them together, responding to real world situations, I thought, as opposed to having a intra-head narrative, I thought, which I didn't really like that much because it was just a bit of a quest kind of thing. And
The hero's journey.
Hero's
The
journey,
whole
I
problem
know,
though that
I
all the
know.
emotions are split up, so she's left with
Well,
only.
yeah, but I just think they could have done better with the. That's just my personal opinion.
No.
It's at its best when they're all together, and I wanted more of that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
throughout
the dynamic
throughout the
between
journey,
them is-
the dynamic got torn apart, and throughout I was just like, I want more of what we had at the start. I was like, fucking hurry up and get back to the brain.
God
Like-
damn it! Why are you
Well,
making a kids film that isn't for me?
Exactly.
Ah!
So at number 8, I've got A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, which is a really
Ah.
interesting kind of international perspective on the vampire thriller. It's a film that I feel is going to potentially it's vying for a bit of a cult status, kind of with the soundtrack. It's kind of like loner kind of separate outsider heroes that find each other and find love. But it's a good watch. It's really
I
interesting.
really liked the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it seemed to trail off very quickly. I got very bored.
Fair enough.
But
It
I like
is-
the style of it.
Yeah,
I
it
really
is
like the style
stylish, and it is one of those kind of indie art house kind of things of not much happens. But I like the fact. I like the way that not much happens. So if you'll allow me that, then that's fine. Another one at number 7, I've got Me, Earl and the Dying Girl. It starts obnoxiously. Oh my goodness!
More on that later.
Yeah, more on that later. I'm
for
not.
Jack's blood
I'm not a
flow.
person that out and out likes this film. There are a lot of things that I think are really off-putting and alienating about it. It's got some really nasty things. It's got some. So you're.
Why
I'm
is
making
it-
you say-
whoa,
why is it number 7? Purely
He's like
because-
Fincher stepped in.
Purely because the final act has got an incredible scene that I think could be just such a teary-eyed thing and really cliche.
What scene's that?
The scene that has
Is it the
got
screening?
the screening. I
Oh,
It's a
I
really
saw his
divisive
reaction
scene.
to that.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know. Jack would hate that scene.
I mean, I
Because
liked the
it's-
film, but I figured by that point it had kind of trailed off a bit.
Really,
Yeah.
I got more engaged in the latter half of it, and I think the score with Brian Eno was really good, and the track they used there, A Big Ship, I just thought was really, really good for that scene. That scene just was really cohesive for me, and I thought it was a really good payoff. I thought it was one of the best like finishes or finales for a film of that type that I've seen personally, and I felt it had resonance. It moved me. So it
You
was.
sound like an
Yeah.
emperor.
And
You may live.
Yes,
You
but,
appease me.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that's difficult to put into words, but I really kind of felt what they were kind of going for.
Fair enough.
So there we go.
Number 6.
That's that one. Number 6. Oh, Kingsman. Yeah, yeah. It's a great film. It's such a fun watch. It's brilliant. In many ways, it deserves to go higher in the list, but perhaps just because it's later in the year and we've had more films intervening. Yeah, it's just a great watch. I'm not going to go over it too much more. We've said what we need to say about it.
Cool.
Yeah.
James?
Okay, so my number 10 was Amy, the documentary.
Yeah. I forgot about that,
Yeah,
actually. It was
yeah.
really good.
A bit different, and it's nice to see a documentary film doing well in the cinemas, getting good audiences. It was directed by the same guy who directed Senna, which was another really good cinematic style
I thought this one was
documentary.
better than Senna. Senna, I didn't really understand all the hype.
I
but
think I
Amy-
preferred
Maybe
the
it's 'cause we're not
subject
into
matter
car
of
porn.
that. So,
Maybe.
but I think that's what Amy did so well, is that even for people that weren't really particularly big fans of Amy
Yeah.
Winehouse, it was still an interesting watch. Number 9, Kingsman. It was a lot
was
more
happy
fun.
it's there.
Yeah, it was just fun, and I wouldn't say I went into it looking to dislike it at all. I wouldn't have said that.
You
but,
were quite skeptical.
but I was quite sceptical about it, and it won me over with just how fun and ludicrous it was. But didn't feel childish. Like, I feel like a lot of very heavily American films can feel a bit childish or a bit churlish. Kingsman kind of did it in a sort of slightly British way. I quite like that, a bit of tweeness to it. I did like that. Well, not twee. I don't think you call Kingsman twee, but number 8, Legend. Really like that. Really like that. That was it was a film that I thought could go either way, but it was great, and Tom Hardy, absolutely fantastic. Not his best role of the year.
I think it is his best role.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's his best performance.
Okay, yeah, his best.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah.
Not the best film he's in.
Yeah.
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 We'll get to that later.
Yes.
But yeah, just a really, really great film, and it had a lot of style to it. It was for a film that is quite a British production. I know there's sort of American money
Yeah,
in
it did
it.
feel like it was expensive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it had that kind of Goodfellas feel to it, didn't it? It had that same kind of swagger. Number 7 was The Gift, which I know Ben
I really
liked.
liked that, yeah.
I just thought it was like a really interesting take on the sort of psychological horror kind of thing. It wasn't ostensibly a horror film necessarily, but I just felt like it brought some nuance to
It was very unexpected for me. I was expecting something very generic, but it wasn't at all.
I find melodrama films very dull, and this was kind of like an engaging melodrama in a way. So I really liked it, and some really good characters in it, and not bad for a whether you like it or not, for a debut and debut writing and directing credits for
Joel
Egerton. And then number 6, another film which I liked a lot more than I was expecting to like, was The Martian, and I thought the humour was played out perfectly in the film, really well balanced, and I liked the way that he scienced the shit out of everything. You know, I liked that everything had a kind of a cause to it.
Yeah.
You know, and the cast was really good. But yeah, it was just a really good film. So I enjoyed that. So that's
another surprising one.
another surprising one, yeah. And I feel like a lot of the ones on my list are films that
me too.
surprised me
Yeah.
this year. So they weren't films I was necessarily looking forward to.
It's not like when I thought of like my most anticipated. Like it's not what this.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Our most anticipated were quite bad this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your most
Yeah.
anticipated was Fan Shit.
I did that for diversity, 'cause I didn't want to repeat the same films everyone else was saying.
Great.
So now Jack's gonna do
Jack.
5-1.
5-1 . So you want
No,
All
do
whole
5
thing.
to 2.
Alright,
5 to 2.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've hold
All right.
number 1.
Now Jack's gonna do 5-2.
This kind of comes with my number 4, which is Jurassic World, and I don't know why.
Wow, I didn't see that coming.
Me
Because
either.
I generally focus so much on the plot holes and and there's definitely a lot of it in Jurassic World. There's a lot of stupidity in the details with Jurassic World, but it's just these two films were like the most fun I've had in a cinema for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Like, and
Cool.
I don't know, I'm letting my cynicism go slightly.
It's-
I like
it's
this.
almost
It's
like
Christmas.
I'm not saying that my list is
Jack
like
has
the
learned
best
to love.
films.
It's
Jack
got a
has
good
power of
character
love.
arc this season. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Who else is
Well, you
who's
can
like
go
gonna be the
Breaking
mean
Bad.
one?
Yeah, I've got the
Yeah.
opposite.
But
Okay,
yeah, it's,
that's
I don't know, I just wanted to. This is like my favourite film list rather than
Yeah.
what I think is the best.
Yeah.
There's no
technically made
point
film
in
list.
trying to
Exactly.
say like
Yeah,
because
exactly.
we're not professional critic. We're not academic people who write for sight and sound.
Technically,
No,
yeah.
we like. There's no point in us
Yeah.
trying to pretend that we are.
I'm gonna directly go against my last statement and say that my third film is Carol.
Carol! Carol, I gotta talk to you about Pepe!
So it's like,
Jack, this is the weirdest list.
I know, but
Oh,
it's
well.
like it's the film that I've actually like when it's saying beforehand. It's the film that I've actually thought about since watching it, and I've just it's a film that I actually want to watch again. And
Fair enough.
although it may go higher or lower in ranking or something like that, it's just a film that I've wanted to watch again, which I would say is true for most of the ones on the list, and especially at the top.
I would have to say I liked Carol, but like if there is one thing about Carol that I wouldn't want, it's to watch it again.
To be fair, I think I'm in the same camp as you.
Yeah.
So
Well, I didn't
that's
hate
my-
it, as you know.
I found the beginning
Yeah.
kind of boring, and it got better as it went on. But
Yeah, I feel like we could.
It was very pretty.
throughout
Again,
there.
I feel like I need to watch it again to just kind of cement my view on it. But
Why-
it's a film that it's the film that I've most wanted to watch.
It has more
again
to
in
give to
recent
you.
memory. Yeah.
My favourite part was literally the opening shot. But
Yeah,
that's because the opening shot was fantastic.
Yeah.
As I told you at the time. Jack, I like this.
yeah. Mine, and again with the pretentious one, my number 2 is Mummy.
Oh yeah,
Javier,
yeah.
Javier Dolan? I don't know how to say his name.
Xavier-
He's French.
Xavier
Javier
Dolan.
Dolan.
Xavier Dolan. Yeah.
That's how I pronounced
Let's just
it.
English
He's
it.
French Canadian. It's fine.
yeah, it's just it was a really
You pull the face of disgust.
Who? Chris?
You.
Me?
Yeah. You
It was
do.
the
Palm it
Chris
off
face.
onto
Well,
me.
no, I was just surprised because this I didn't realise you liked it that much.
I know it's like it's
Jack
kind of,
always
you know
keeps his cards close to his chest.
and I just like I sway you in with saying I'm fun loving and then I throw pretension in your face. But the Mummy, it's you know how you said you kind of felt like the final scene in Me, Earl and the Dying Girl was
Yeah.
quite like it got you quite involved with it.
Yeah.
There were similar scenes to that in Mummy, and it was just it felt like to me it was the drama that I was most invested in this year.
Yeah.
Although you could kind of call it melodrama, like it was the characters that I kind of felt were most believable in films.
At number 5, I have Legend, which I understand might not be as good as I think it is, but
Tom Hardy's really.
I don't care.
It has
I like it a lot.
good songs
And
in it.
it's fun. It's fun, and I know that okay, it's a true gangster film. Should it be fun? It is. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's fun. I like it. End. Done. Number
I'm
4.
not gonna shout.
4 is Inside Out. So I'm
Yeah.
finally. Am I the only person who's gonna have it in their top 5?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
We'll have to wait and see.
Ooh.
That's
Mystery.
Suspense. So, yeah. I'm trying to say this in the nicest way I can. I don't know what you guys are talking about when you say it's not perfect.
Inside Out.
Yeah.
I don't want to go into.
I've already
a
made
rant.
my point.
I don't
Yeah.
want to go into a rant.
I
I feel
kind of
like we
just
could-
feel like you know when you said I don't see why it should be nominated for Best Picture. Like I kind of almost want it to win Best Picture.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean,
Oh.
I like how universal it is in terms of like appealing to different markets, and I like how clever the story is and everything. But it doesn't have that little.
It's the
spark.
film. It's definitely the film that engaged me emotionally the most this year.
Ooh, if it
Definitely.
engaged Harrison emotionally, this is.
Yeah.
Right,
Brandy, I think.
Third, because you know I don't want to be too sweet and nice, is Sicario.
The opposite
because-
end of the
Because
spectrum.
I also like to be disturbed and unsettled, and just to sit there watching a film thinking, God, the world is awful. I like that.
Yeah.
Really?
And I just realised I don't have Macbeth in here, and we all give it 10. I don't think
Yeah, but
Macbeth
do you remember at the time you guys all mocked me for saying, although I think it's a 10, it's definitely not
Yeah.
in my top 10 of the year.
Yeah,
so.
that's not mine either. And at number 2 is Fury Road,
Mm-hmm.
which,
Yeah.
I mean, is there
I
anything
think-
to say? It's amazing. It's brilliant. It's Fury Road. You've heard why it's brilliant 1,000 times.
We did a review of why
Yeah.
it's brilliant. Number 5 is Room. Lenny Abrahamson's Room, the guy who made...
The Room.
Oh,
No.
I'm looking forward to that.
yeah, the guy who made Frank. It's an adaptation of a book. It's got Brie Larson in it. It's just amazing. I saw this on a Saturday morning at like ridiculously early in the morning, and I was just an emotional wreck for the rest of the day. It's so powerful, and I thought it was going to be one of those like Oscar baity, prestige-y films, but I was so blown away by how like gripped I was by it. And the kid actor in it is probably one of the best child actors I think I've seen in a film in a long time. He's just adorable, and I never wanted to punch him in the face. So number 4 is The Hallow, which we've mentioned before. Handsome t-shirt. Again, saw it at Fright Fest. Loved it. It's the sort of film that it's a specific type of film that I really, really like creature feature horror movies, but not just that, but it's done
Well,
incredibly, yeah, with practical effects, with genuine tension, with characters you kind of care about, and with like seriously amazing visuals and this kind of pounding sense of real danger. And it has arguably one of my favourite kind of images of the year
I know
in the attic with the hand coming out through. It's just
that was really cool.
fantastic. Number 3 is Kingsman. We've all mentioned it.
Yeah.
It's just so much fun, and just like me and James were talking about this earlier. It's one of the few films I've seen, one of 2 films I think I've seen this year, where I've seen it multiple times and enjoyed it equally as much every single time I've seen it. Like my patience or whatever hasn't wavered for even a second. So, and number 2 is a film I thought would pop up on your list at some point. but never did.
I think, well, if you're talking about one, it's like number 12.
Yeah.
So it's just missed out.
Avengers Age of Ultron, which I know quite a lot of people were a bit disappointed with in the end, but I'm still blown away by this film. I'm still blown away by how much in love with it I was, how much in love with it I still was the second time I saw it. How funny and fun, but still kind of narratively coherent it was. How much I loved Ultron as a villain. How much I loved a lot of the newer characters.
Vision?
And Vision, definitely. Everyone loves a bit of Vision, James.
Yeah.
Everyone loves
No.
Vision. Vision's
good.
great.
I agree with every single thing you said, except for the coherent part. It's that one bit where I kind of feel like...
I think there's one plot thread that dangles a little bit too...
I feel like a lot of things are kind of... like just like the way Ultron just sort of wakes up and is instantly introduced.
I think
There's
this is
any
a
problem
film. This is
with
a
that.
film that we can, people can nitpick and stuff. But I think
Yeah.
it's good that Ben's given it a look in, because it's very easy to jump on the bandwagon now of backlashing
Well, I
against
said it's
it.
12, we're
And
not
saying you
backlashing
don't.
it.
No, I'm not saying you specifically. I'm just saying there's a wider movement of backlash against it. And at the time, everyone was praising it and hailing it as way better than the original.
It's not better
the first one.
I don't
So-
necessarily think it's better than the first one, but I think I had probably as much fun as I did with
Yeah.
the first one. And I think it's just... I don't know, in terms of... I feel like it's one of... There's so many comic book movies out now. There's so many superhero movies now. And I think this one, more than most others, engages with the source material the best.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
So-
I feel like it's pushing actually into the area where kind of comic book fans want to be, where
Definitely.
you've got that kind of comic book feel of characters and narratives moving in and outside of, and continuity moving in and outside of the specific kind of single... don't want to use the word text film or whatever, you know what I mean?
We're getting
like,
academic
essay
now.
mode, but
It's just a really, really fun film, and I can't wait to watch it again. So yeah, that's my number 2. Chris, do you want to do your 5 to 2s?
Yes, my 5 to 2 we have got. So at number 5, Jurassic World, on many people's lists.
It's really good because like that's not going to be in anyone else's top 10s, but we represented it well.
Because
I'm glad we
I
mentioned
went and
haven't.
saw it, and when I saw it, I felt like it really harked back to like an earlier kind of blockbuster, like completely unlike what we're currently faced with in like past 5-10 years. That really, and though it's produced by Spielberg, I felt it really got that that early Spielberg tone of like that sense of like wonder and stuff, like when you're watching it. You guys were saying about really liking the conclusion. I really like the final act, but the best moment for me, I think, was when they did the open out on the park.
Yeah,
which
that
was
was
the
the
most
moment,
iconic things
yeah.
about the first one. And I thought it just really nailed it. It gave me that childish sense of wonder,
that was
which you
definitely-
don't get
I
in any
did kind of
films.
have a grin on
Where
my face.
you don't get blockbusters anymore that appeal to and can be watched by both, live action blockbusters, sorry, that both, kind of literally like a audience of like kids like 5 years old can watch and enjoy it just as much as an adult.
think-
I really loved it. It made me fall in love with cinema again. I was like,
Made me fall in love with cinema.
okay, sorry, that's like such a cliche thing. You always make statements like that. You make lots of statements like that
I
and
just
get
sing
away with it.
Jean-Luc Godard's
Do what?
stuff on the
Yeah,
film.
you do. You're like, oh, that's a film for me, and like
Different.
stuff
That's
like
not the
that.
same as made me fall in love
Alright.
with cinema.
Fuck off. Okay, maybe it's because I saw it in IMAX.
I
and it was
saw
great.
the art of cinema again with
always
that
make
giant
love,
triangle.
Why do you guys always just lay into me?
I'm sticking up for you on this one.
Yes.
Pratt was
Please play
inspirational.
What's
We
your
were
number
doing
two?
so well.
What's the number 2?
Okay.
Number 4.
Okay, number 4. Ex
Oh.
Machina.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Just fucking hurry up and get me done with it.
Get on with it.
Ex Machina. I'm
Ex
glad you
Machina,
put that in there. I
yeah.
was a bit ashamed that I didn't put that in my own list.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
amazing.
It is a great film. We've talked about it before and stuff like that earlier in the year. It's just great. I love the tension and the interplay between the three characters, small locations, stuff like that, and the double crossing. And I also really like the fact that they made it very vested in what we've got right now with kind of search engines and people like that. They're collecting data, like the fact that the protagonist is supposedly chosen from a competition, but really actually he was profiled and identified through his search engine stuff and his company data, and I thought it was really kind of topical. Whilst having the AI aspect, it had much more grounded kind of identity kind of explorations with what we've got right now. So that's me getting academic again on that one and loving it. I know, I'm sorry guys. And then number 3, Macbeth. We've talked about it.
There we go.
As we said, it's a great film. It is where you've taken a Shakespeare story and it's not just Shakespeare on screen. It is great cinema.
You're Chris the smart one today.
Sorry,
I'm like the academic one.
He's
Yeah.
out now and he's giving you his thoughts.
That's gonna be edited now. I need to stop giving you material to edit the shit out of. That's what happens to me every single
Yeah,
time.
Jack is always you.
Yes, Jack's nice to me in real life,
Jack.
so he can edit the
Yeah.
hell out of me.
We're just going to have a
Jack
folder
is
full of
always
Chris
doing
clips.
that.
Okay, I'm getting so sidetracked. Yeah, exactly. We all know. Yeah, you've said it for me.
What's
There,
number 2?
Macbeth. Number 2, Legend. Because and this is ranking a bit higher for me than where I would normally put it, because this is a kind of film that I'm naturally quite predisposed against. I don't normally enjoy gangster films. I don't. Also, the central premise of Tom Hardy playing 2 characters seems like such a gimmick to me. But I really enjoyed his performance. He got to, what I thought again was going to be a gimmick kind of role, and he did really unique performances for each one for the twins. They were really arresting.
Thinking about them being both of them.
I stopped
Yeah.
thinking about them being, Tom Hardy's playing this guy, Tom Hardy's playing this guy. No, I was thinking Reggie and Ronnie
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah, me too.
I really like the stylistic aspects of it and how it kind of nailed the era very well. That is a really great kind of London kind of pick. It's a great British film, even though we said, foreign money and stuff like that. It was one of the best, if we can say, British films I've seen in a while of that caliber.
Quasi-British.
Yeah, exactly. I just really enjoyed it, and it was a film. The reason I put it in at number 2 is because, like I said, it's a film that had everything going against it for me, and I had a lot of fun with it. I was really invested in it throughout, and nothing took me out of it. And I didn't get to a stage where I'm nitpicking on it. So, though there might be errors in it, I didn't see any when I was watching
There you go.
it. Because, there we go.
Number 5, Fury Road, for the same reason we've discussed. As you may remember, if you're a loyal viewer, from our Fury Road review, I was kind of actually, I would admit, probably going into this film to not like it. Really not keen on the whole kind of steampunky kind of ideas. Thought it was a really a phenomenal film. Like, I've struggled to think of a film as visually striking as that. And you could say something like Gravity, but Gravity is only visually striking because of the 3D effects. This was visually striking in just the editing. I think the editing was exceptional. And I know like Gravity probably got an editing Oscar, didn't it? But the editing just kind of reflected the pace of the film, and it just was an onslaught on your senses, which I think is what it was hoping to do. So that was fantastic. Okay, so number 4 is Spectre, which, well, maybe you're thinking that, that's lower than, because it was my most anticipated. It was still a good Bond film, and I think we have to remember that before the Daniel Craig films came along, and even in the Daniel Craig films, we've had like Quantum of Solace, which is crap. Not crap.
No, it's crap.
Not great.
No, it's crap.
Die Another Day, and you think of what Bond was before Daniel Craig, and think even what Bond was. I know Casino Royale's a good film, but even what it was before Skyfall, I think it's harsh to say it's not a good film by comparing it to Skyfall, because I don't think that's fair. Because I think Skyfall's a fantastic film, and as I said at the time, Spectre is just a good Bond film, which is fine. So that's why it's number 4, because I do love Bond. So that maybe there's some personal bias there.
I think that's quite an unbiased rating from you, James.
Yeah.
Knowing you, I think that doesn't show much fanboyism. Actually,
You didn't say that when I
Thanks,
gave
guys.
Jurassic World number 6.
Oh, sorry. Do you want to compliment as well?
Yeah.
There you go.
Have
There
one.
you go.
Have
Sorry.
one. Take all the compliment. So number 3, going against what most of you guys were saying, but not Harrison, is Inside Out. One of the best films. I mean, I was looking at my reviews for the films, and I didn't give any 10s this year. And I think probably, I mean, it's not going to be top of my ratings, but I rated it at the time as one of the highest rated. I gave it 9 out of 10. I just thought it was a fantastic film. Like, the emotional side of it, obviously, it is centered around emotions, but it was probably the most emotionally engaging film I've seen all year. It was Pixar at their best, and I'm sorry, but Pixar at their best means it's going to be one of the best films of the year, because Pixar makes some of the best films, and I'm not one for silly
Like The
silliness.
Good Dinosaur.
Like The Good Dinosaur, yes, like that. And anyway, number 2 for me is Sicario. Looks incredible. I went into great length with it at the time about Roger Deakins and how beautiful it looks. Emily Blunt is good. Lots of people have said, oh, she's like a really weak character, blah 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 blah. The whole point is she's weak, so that's rubbish. That's just
She's not even weak. She's just put in a position where no one could do anything other than
she's
what she does.
positioned.
She's not
She's
supposed to know
positioned
anything.
in the same place as the audience, and I think that's
Yeah,
what works
she's
so
just
well.
got. There's nothing she can do
No,
differently.
and anyway, so another fantastic Denis Villeneuve film, Denis Villeneuve, and it actually leaves me being quite excited for the Blade Runner, which
Me too.
I mean,
Thoroughly excited.
I mean, something that should not have been made, but it's Denis Villeneuve and Roger Deakins.
And Ryan Gosling.
And is it Ryan Gosling?
Yeah,
Ryan
he's
Gosling
starring in
is.
it.
It's gonna be good.
Very
maybe.
excited.
Oh wait, did people want to do their honourable mentions before we do number
Yeah.
1? I think that makes
Yeah.
more sense than doing
Okay.
it after.
I might just do my honourable mentions just to say that I feel like this is my best of 2015 that I've seen so far. And that I feel like there's a lot of films that you guys have listed that I'll be like, that's probably in my top 10 when I watch it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if I feel like a bad film student in that, like, so you guys talking about Sicario, I just think I really should have seen a Sicario.
Yeah, you'd like Sicario,
And
I think.
again, I think it's almost like a defence of my second half of the list, but there are films that will probably not be in my list by the time we get to release. Yeah, that's my honourable mention. I'm not.
It's
my
honourable disclaimer.
To dishonour yourself.
Yeah, basically.
Okay,
Dishonourable
okay.
member
I
of the
listed
group.
a few. I listed a few honourable mentions.
Just a few.
Just a few. Mockingjay, which I liked a lot. Age of Ultron. Rogue Nation. John Wick.
Reading like awards nominations.
The Diabolical. And then I don't. No, I'm not. I was gonna say Ex Machina, but actually it's not an honourable. Getting rid of it.
So what is that like?
Honorable mentions. We've already talked about a lot of them. Spectre, The Martian, Ex Machina. Can I have a look at your list? John Wick, definitely as well. The Diabolical, obviously, one of the best horror films in the last 50 years, easily. I can't even say that seriously. Also, Body, like.
It was alright. I mean,
No,
don't
but
get
I
carried
think
away.
for a first feature, and considering it was the budget they worked on and stuff, it was literally as physically as good as it could have been.
It was as good as a cheap film where nothing happens.
No,
can
stuff happened. There was tension. The actresses in it were really good.
They were good.
There was so much potential for more. It was just they didn't have the drive or the money
drive.
to actually go further.
It could be asked.
it gives me good kind of like hope
Yeah,
for,
it was good.
for what they do next. Alright. I also really like Turbo Kid as well. And then Nina Forever as well, which was at Fright Fest, but it's actually like it got BIFA nominations, like British Independent Film Award nominations, which I was really surprised about because it's a really strange film, but that one's really good as well. So.
Cool. As for my honourable mentions, Terminator Genesis makes its way on there because oh my god, the trailer was just atrocious.
I know the trailer was atrocious, but the film. I mean, I
The
know the film
film-
wasn't atrocious.
Guys, come on,
but-
this is honourable
Whoa.
mentions. This is the zone where
Hang on, hang on.
it doesn't
ranking it.
qualify. It doesn't qualify for a best films of the year or anything. But it's like,
Oh.
okay, you did well. Like,
Do you know what
here,
honourable mentions are, Chris?
Terminator Genesis could have been such a train wreck. It looked
I do
like a
agree with
train
you on
wreck,
that, to be
but
fair.
it was actually watchable.
Yeah.
And you know, we got Arnie back in a Terminator film, and it was watchable.
We
feel
all
like
that,
the idea-
still dive from the helicopter.
all the point I wanted to make was it was going to be. It looked like it was going to be atrocious. It wasn't.
I felt
I
like the
didn't
ideas were
hate
there.
it.
Yeah, and it wasn't completely atrocious.
Exactly.
The ideas
So I feel
behind
like
it were good,
that
yeah.
deserves a nod.
Yeah.
That's my honourable mention for it. My other honourable mention is Krampus because that was actually a lot of fun, as we've discussed. Doesn't make top 10, but it's
It
good
will
fun.
ban at the end
And,
of the
and
year.
it's one that I feel you could crack out in future years to
Yeah.
show as a Christmas film. Like you'd shout, yeah.
My honourable mentions are, I'm going to keep it brief. I only have two. One of which is The Man from U.N.C.L.E.,
Oh yeah, shit, me too. Yeah.
which
I
was
do
just,
love-
again, in
I like it.
exactly the same way that Kingsman was. It was just fun. And so I don't see how anyone could love Kingsman and make it one of their top 10 and not have enjoyed
It was
The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
fucking boring.
I enjoyed it.
And
I felt
Alicia
like it was just
Vikander
a
was
lesser
the
Kingsman,
best
basically.
thing. Alicia Vikander is my highlight
She's
of 2015.
the best
We'll
part
get
of
onto
it.
that more later.
She was the best.
She makes
I can
great
agree
cinema.
with that, but it was fucking boring. I'm sorry.
Anyway, it wasn't boring. It was really
Boring.
stylish and cool, and I loved it. Well, I didn't love it as much to make it in my top 10, but anyway, it was good. Also, Bridge of Spies really just
Oh,
missed out.
shit,
That was
yeah.
the one
I
that
still
just
haven't
missed
seen
out on the top 10.
I haven't seen
Yeah,
Jobs.
yeah,
That
It
was
just
a
a really
really,
well-made film.
really well-made historical drama. It was
Yeah, yeah.
what, 2.5 hours long and really enjoyable. It's kind of a classic Spielberg film.
I forgot to mention Steve Jobs.
Oh yeah,
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. Okay, so best film of the year in 3, 2, 1.
Fury Road!
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Jack, start us off with
Jack.
your best film of the
That's
year.
not when everyone does this and then they're like, go
Should we just go around then discuss Fury Road?
Kingsman.
Fury Road.
Fury Road.
Ex Machina.
Proud.
Cool.
Proud of that one.
I'm surprised it would be your top of the year. To
I'm
be
very
honest.
surprised.
I just really liked it for its
Yeah.
simplicity and aesthetically it was
Yeah.
amazing. The acting in it's fantastic. You can't fault
All of it? I think Oscar Isaac is, and I think
I think
no,
Donald
he is.
Gleeson's good.
He's the one I don't think's good.
No, I
I
think he's
think
fine.
Donald
What's wrong
Gleeson
with it?
wasn't at his
Boring.
best. I don't think it's bad, but
It's not bad. No,
I've
but
seen
it's not.
Donald Gleeson do better.
I'd
as well.
agree. I think he's the weakest of the three, but when you've only got three kind of central
Yeah,
characters,
exactly. I mean,
then-
I
Yeah.
think they
but
carry.
he's a
that
bit
film.
like wimpy and limp
I never
sometimes
noticed.
occasionally.
He's
a
meant
bit.
to be. He's
But
meant to
he's
be an
meant to
IT
be.
geek.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
in other films,
Not
I think
wrong
he'd
with
probably be the strongest actor. It's just the fact that I think with against Oscar Isaac and
Alicia
I
Vikander.
can't pronounce him here.
Alicia Vikander.
He's not in the same level as those two.
She
I think.
played the AI very well. She was
Yeah.
very, you know, I don't know how you would describe it, her sentience, levels of sentience, but it just looked fantastic. And,
It does
and,
look
and
really
it was
good, yeah.
produced on quite a low budget, and
Yeah.
I know that they had some really cool marketing strategies, and just a really well, and a British film well, it won the BIFTAs, didn't it?
Yeah.
Um,
And it's Garden's directorial debut, wasn't
Yeah,
it? As well?
yeah.
So
Really, really
it was
good.
very strong
Great.
directing, I thought. Yeah.
So I just think,
so-
it's we should take into account that it was a directorial debut, that it was a British film that was fairly low budget. You know,
It did
I
a lot
think
with
those
it.
have to be
It
factors.
is very impressive.
Yeah, and so that is why it gets in ahead of something like Sicario or something like Fury Road for me.
Yeah.
Because what it with it's there's very limited basic elements to it, but it's made something really quite engaging.
Also, it's Blow
And
Trumpet
different.
for it as well. It's original sci-fi as well, isn't it? It hasn't been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the
Garland
score's really
script,
cool.
isn't it?
Score's really cool.
Good. Yeah.
I'd say that the biggest problem that I would say I have with it is that
The
it kind of
ending?
falters. Yeah, the ending basically. Not
It
the
goes
entire
on too long.
third act, but no, I wouldn't even say that.
I
just think
don't
that
like the last few minutes.
I felt like
think.
it was kind of stuck within. Although you said it was on a small budget, and it's quite admirable for that. I feel like it was trapped within that budget in that it had to do a small ending, and I felt like it deserved a grander ending.
In my opinion.
I don't want this to be another Her situation. I like the film. I like the film. I just don't.
You
like
don't
it.
understand love.
I just don't like it as much as you all do.
Okay,
which is the
it's
same
fine.
as what you said about Inside Out.
It's fine. It's fine.
Should we do
Yeah, do you want
Kingsman
to talk
now,
about
though,
Kingsman
because we've
quickly?
got
Yeah.
the majority.
Okay.
Is this purely a Matthew Vaughn fanboy moment?
I
or is
mean-
there more to it?
I think there's. You could look at it that way, but I think the reason I like Matthew Vaughn so much is because he makes films.
For, like,
Well, I don't want to use the whole makes films for me thing
Yes,
again,
I
seeing
know.
that, but he
You
like,
do use that a
yeah.
lot as justification
the
why
reason-
films are good.
the reason that I like Matthew Vaughn films so much is because I guess he just likes the same things as me, and so when he makes a film, I'm probably going to like it because I seem to have a similar taste to him.
Yeah.
And so when there is a massacre in a church with Freebird playing, I do go, well, that's incredibly cool because that's something that I think is incredibly cool. And
Without context, that seems how.
yes.
Yeah.
I just love church massacres.
It's not so much a case of I wanted to love it because it was Matthew Vaughn as much as I just think Matthew Vaughn happens to make things that I love. Does that make sense? I imagine you feel the same way about James
It
Gunn.
Yeah,
ticks
yeah, no.
all your
Yeah.
boxes.
It's like
Yeah.
James Gunn makes things that you really like. It's not that you want to like everything.
Yeah.
You make yourself like James Gunn
Yeah.
things. It's that James Gunn has,
interesting to match up.
Yeah. and it's how I feel about Kingdom.
Yeah.
And I've just not, you know how you were saying it's incredibly fun?
Mm.
I've not had more fun with a film since Kick-Ass.
And then
Fury
us three,
Road.
Fury Road.
That's
I
Fury
just
on
think-
Fury Road, yeah.
I think it's like, I was talking to James about this before, I think it's just, it's so rare that a film like this comes along that seems to match not only kind of fun blockbuster stakes,
yes.
but can also in some ways weirdly be considered high art as well.
Yeah.
Considering just how grand, how epic,
Yeah.
how beautifully made it is. It's almost operatic. And
Yeah.
it's so rare that a film this special comes along.
Yeah, there's barely like a single frame in it that you wouldn't say was like a great composition or a
Exactly.
brilliant shot.
Yeah.
And like
So
with
much
the
about
pace of it,
it.
when you think how quick, how many shots there are in it because of the pace, you've got to appreciate how much work has gone into it. And then outside of that as well, the world building, the characters, there's so much visual detail. It's such a rich, world that Miller's given us. It's fantastic, and you just want more. You just want to dive back into it. But it's great to have, dystopia, a post-apocalyptic world that's not just desaturated, zero
yeah.
colour, the
Yeah.
same old,
Yeah.
same old. It's, visually distinct, and he's evolved it as well, like I was saying with world building. It's just like glorious colour and stuff.
Really
isn't it?
good
Like,
villain as well. Like not
Yeah.
enough,
Yeah.
not enough
Yeah.
blockbusters have good villains anymore.
Well, there's
Yeah,
not
it's
just
good.
one villain as well, there's a whole team.
Yeah,
of
I
villains.
mean the main
But the
villain.
main
He's like a
villain,
good
that's
villain.
great.
The good thing is that it doesn't, he doesn't build upon the character like a villain like they do in most blockbusters. Now they try to give like the villain a big backstory. They try to
Yeah,
humanise
try
him.
to do the
They try to give him
Ledger
more screen time to make him a
He's
memorable
just
villain.
evil
It's
'cause
like
he's
he
evil.
barely has any screen time as a
Yeah.
villain.
But he doesn't actually do
No,
anything.
he's
He doesn't
threatening.
hurt
He doesn't-
anyone, does he?
Yeah.
He
I mean,
just
he grabs
drives
that
after
one
them.
woman, but
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
presumably lets her go.
Yeah.
He doesn't actually do anything.
Yeah, but somehow
But he's
still
cool.
manages
Yeah.
to be a good villain. Yeah, and I came out of it kind of picking the flaws in it quite a lot, and now it's just kind of the bit where the enjoyment's slowly overwhelming the flaws of it. I mean, I still watch it and I still think like the Schlanger girl and
Schlanger.
that tiny bit and like
That's the
other
thing, I
random
don't-
things, but at the same time I'm kind of growing to love them a bit for its flaws.
Yeah, I don't see any flaws in it. That's the thing. I can't think of anything.
fixation.
The only. No, I'm not even gonna say it. No, the guitar guy is the only thing that I think has major
Best part of the
potential to
film.
be argued as a flaw. I
Yeah.
don't personally.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think he's the best part.
Me too.
Yeah, oh, I'm so
Okay.
glad you said that, Chris, because that was the only
That's the
thing
best
I
part.
didn't
Redefined
like,
cinema.
and I hated it. I hated it
Totally
so
agree.
much.
Yeah.
Guitar guy. So much.
I think he's the only thing in it that
It
has
was
a
just-
reasonable case to be made
I'm
against.
with Jack,
I'm
the
not going
only
to make said case.
Teeny
It was
problem
just
I
the
have
shit
is with
thing,
that
it was just
one
shit.
that says
Yeah,
shit.
bit tacky.
Shit.
So is that it? Have we reached the
Yeah.
end of
Yeah.
our odyssey into 2015's film?
Yeah, this has been our favourite films of the year.
There's been more
far.
overlap than I thought.
So far.
Yeah,
So
Star
far.
Wars.
We're not-
Star
so you
Wars.
can't
Star,
say
it could be
its name.
awful. It could be terrible. You don't know. Don't bitch. It could be terrible.
I'm gonna attack
This
you.
could be Attack of the Clones.
And isn't
Don't
that something
bitch.